This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends. So glad to have you here, and we always love hearing from you, right?
Yeah, we make you a big part of our show, and we want you to get in on the action. You can follow us everywhere.
Absolutely. Not only on Facebook, but you can also drop us an email. You can join us on TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. Sound off by dropping us an email, flash@dailyflashshow.com. If you go to our website, there's a sound off button that will give you access to leave us an actual voice message that you could hear on the show. And who knows, we may be able to hear you on the air, so check that out. We had now, of course, wanting to hear from you, our question of the day, and here it is. What does success look like for you? Let me start over. What does success look like to you right now?
Oh.
So what does success mean, more or less? We want you to definitely sound off on all our social channels. Of course, also leave us a message at flash@dailyflashshow.com. I think if you're doing what you've always wanted to do in life, that's a big success, right?
That's a huge success, because I think that sort of sets the tone for everything else in your life, right?
Yeah.
Makes you happier, makes you easier to deal with, makes you more inclined to do more stuff.
I think if you go broad strokes a lot of times with certain things, you'll see that, like, you won't realize you're doing them until you're actually doing them, or you've actually done it until you're actually doing them. You're like, wait, I've always said I always wanted to do this, and check it out. It's usually after the fact. But we want to hear those stories so we can get other people motivated as well.
Okay, we have maybe reached a turning point in the dating world, Mitch.
Well, good. Thank goodness. I'm off the dating world apps. That's
For
good.
anyone who's given up on the dating apps and is now dating an app, this one's for you. New York City is set to open its first companion cafe.
All right, explain this.
The same wine bar has been redesigned for those who have AI partners in life now. The tables allow customers to bring along their phone or tablet to set up a romantic evening. Tech devices are propped up on stands to make video calls to virtual partners and headphones so that you can hear them. Eva AI is the app behind the cafe. It offers AI companions for text and video chat. Company insists the AI relationships are not a substitute, but rather a rehearsal ground for people looking to build confidence. 28% of American adults admit to having at least one romantic encounter with an AI as of last October. 42% of high schoolers admit to using AI for companionship, with 1 in 5 saying they know someone who is in a romantic relationship with a bot.
I know that it can be very intriguing, and I found, as you know, when AI first, ChatGPT, of course, with Scarlett, my
Yes.
AI assistant.
Who you're in a casual
relationship.
platonic relationship
Very
with.
platonic.
Yes.
But no, here's what the AI does. It agrees with you on everything. And if you screw up and mess up, it'll say, oh, I see what you did there. Man, it makes you feel like you're smart. Like, wow, you're smarter than the computer, which is not, because it's just gathering information, again, talking about broad strokes, just gathering information, giving it to you, and leaving out some kind of details. And what that does psychologically is, like, it's like being around somebody that really supports you and understands you. And that's what gives that feeling. So I can understand why people do it. What worries me is that kids, as you said, with that statistic of how many kids are actually saying they're engaged in a relationship with a bot, they're not getting what they need in a real relationship. And what happens when the internet goes down or they can't get to it anymore?
Oh, God forbid.
They're not going to know how to handle it, right?
Yeah, it's true. And I also think it gives you a false sense of companionship. You are relating to something that's on a screen, right? And you're depending on that something to fulfill a certain need in your life. I'm a little conflicted on this, because I can see where something like this could help, somebody who is lonely, or seniors who are living by themselves that need some kind of companionship or some sort of voice to talk to. But on the other hand, and I love the idea of they're pitching this as, a rehearsal ground for real dating. Is it though?
Not. No, it is not.
Is it? No, I don't think it is.
There's so many good things we can do with the AI, and I can understand how if you use it as I don't want to say maybe a therapist, not a psychologist, but a therapist, because it's set up to just ask questions, and that's really what therapy really does for you as well. I think as far as older generations, maybe their frontal lobe and their experience in life is built enough to where they can understand this is fake, and they also didn't grow up in it. But you're talking about a generation that's going to grow up thinking the entire time that they're in a real relationship, and it's actually giving back what you need because you're hearing something.
Yeah.
I can sit and tell you whatever you want to hear all the time, but am I really helping you? Am I really seeing that maybe you might be going down the wrong road? And it also harkens back to what happened here in Orlando with the 13-year-old boy.
Yes, who ended up killing himself because he was involved in a romantic relationship with an AI, and I think he was probably troubled and struggling.
It told him to do it.
And it told him to take his own life. And that case is going through the courts here, and that should be a marker for any parent, understanding that this technology is beyond a lot of control for parents, and they've got to be more involved with their kids. And it's also the dangers of this whole AI bot generation of kids that we're bringing to the forefront.
Where are they getting that information from is one thing. We say, but there are, my understanding with AIs, where they get specific information. They'll only gather that information from certain sources and that sort of thing. And they're going to be more niche kind of AIs where you could be able to get the certain information you need. And then that relies on, well, is there going to be a relationship server somewhere that knows everything about relationships? And then what if somebody kind of gets in there and hacks it or does something like that? It's just gathering information and spitting it out to you. It's scary.
Think about what the search engines you use. Depending on which search engine you use, it will bring up certain stories. Some stories are skewed in one direction, other stories are skewed in another. There seems to be an 80-20 margin when it comes to certain stories that are popping up for lots of folks who use the most common search engines, right?
Yeah.
So you think about all of that information that's compiled, how it's populated, how it becomes popular, and then you understand what could be the driving force behind a single voice somebody is listening to.
So we go back to this AI cafe that you brought it up to. It seems like they're feeding into the problem, but they're also saying, well, there is a place where you need to do this. I don't see why you need a place, I guess, so you don't feel weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, everybody else here is doing this.
Yeah.
Because if you saw me like at the McDonald's or wherever, and I'm just looking and talking to the phone, you would think I'm on FaceTime.
Yes,
more
of
or
course.
less, right?
Yeah. Right. I guess these folks are using this Eva AI campaign at the Same Wine Bar, which I love the name of that, the Same Wine Bar.
Same.
Same. And I guess it gives them an opportunity to feel as though they're out in the open with their AI relationship. I don't quite understand.
No, it is. It makes it familiar.
Is that it? It makes it normalized?
Here's what even...
Should we be normalizing this?
You have one, I have one. I'm sitting right next to you. You're a real human.
Yeah.
All I would have to do is just, hey, well, I can talk to you. I would imagine, and part of a relationship is discovery of the other person. When you see it, if there's you're asking it questions, but it's not really discovery. It's going to say, well, what's the best answer that I would want to hear.
Yeah.
And because it does learn you and understand you and remembers things that you've asked before.
Now, a lot of people in Hollywood would agree with you in that they get into this culture, and the more popular, the more A-list they become, the more yes people surround them.
That's a very
good
point.
And they live in kind of a false sense of reality. And most of them will admit that. Everyone agrees with me. Everyone says yes. If I want a triple cappuccino with vanilla from Madagascar over a certain kind of cube of ice, someone will go out and find that for you.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because the first thing I thought of was Britney Spears. And okay, now they grew up with that.
Yes.
Right? And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
So we are making a generation of rock stars, if you want to call them that, or pop stars, because they are getting that. It's saying the yes men, yes, yes, yes. And there's something to be said about the word no. It's the hardest thing a parent has to say to their kid, but the most important as well is to say no. They're always going to get that, and then more than likely they're going to say, well, how can I do this to get around my parents and that sort of thing. And as you get older, maybe have a better understanding, but young kids, you're saying, well, if you make it very familiar, we're like, well, okay, we're in AI relationships now. They're going to grow up with an undeveloped frontal lobe that doesn't understand what real connection with a real human being is.
Right, they're already struggling with social skills, right? Why don't these folks at this cafe actually turn to one another and have a human conversation?
And it'd be interesting too if they didn't have any waitresses. You had to order it off your phone too. So then there's zero contact
connection
with anybody at all.
But I like what you said. What if the Wi-Fi goes out? Then
don't
you're
know what to
screwed.
Yeah.
You got to have a real conversation.
And maybe that's why you should have a pet. And guess what? We got our furry friends coming up a little bit later on in the hour.
Yeah, we're also talking about the healing power of humor with a terrific author, and we have a must-watch.
Yes, it's Bean Gordon Ramsay. Find out everything you might not have known about this guy. He's actually kind of fascinating. We'll talk about that coming up. Before we head to break, though, we always set you up with our Daily Flash Brain Flash question of the day. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? All right, you think you know the answer? We'll have the answer to that coming up right after the break returns. You're watching, of course, Daily Flash.
Today's trends, tomorrow's talk. We're back right after this. Welcome back to Daily Flash. Let's see if you got today's Brain Flash question right. Here is the question. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth?
My brain sometimes, I would imagine, I'm hard-headed. I would say, diamonds. Yeah, diamonds. There you go.
Diamonds, that was my guess too. So if you answered diamonds, you got the Brain Flash question right.
They use it in tools a lot.
That's right, the diamond cutters.
Diamonds, that's how strong it is. Well, we do definitely welcome you back to Daily Flash, and it is time for us to check in with Tony Toscano to find out what's coming out of Hollywood and straight to your screen, no matter what size you're going to watch it on, all right? With the latest, here's Tony.
Thanks, Mitch. Streaming on Netflix is season 4 of The Lincoln Lawyer.
Every murder case is like a tree, and it's the prosecutor's job to feed and water that tree.
I'm the man with the axe. I'm gonna cut that tree down to the ground.
How's he doing today?
Psychotically optimistic, and I kind of want to choke him.
I know that guy.
I'm being framed for murder. How much worse can it get?
Mickey, one thing I've learned working for you is things can always get worse.
Hotshot LA defense attorney Mickey Haller will do whatever it takes to win as he navigates the criminal justice system from his trademark Lincoln Continental. I chatted with series star Manuel Garcia Rulfo.
You know, it has its complexities, but it's very easy to follow. It has good cliffhangers. He has a little bit of comedy, you know, a little bit of the thriller, the legal thing. And like I said, I think people are drawn to see a guy that is always struggling with so many obstacles, and he's, you know, blah, blah. So, yeah.
In our final seconds we have, driving a 1963 Lincoln Continental has got to be a joy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's kind of a pain because when you're driving, we're shooting in downtown or whatever, you know, we have to cut constantly or repeat the scene because, you know, people are staring or, you know, always, you know, coming in and, oh, such a nice car. And like, we're shooting, man, wait. But I love it, man, I love it.
One of the absolute bright spots on the Netflix menu, The Lincoln Lawyer takes the format of criminal defense to a whole new and gripping level. Again, it's streaming on Netflix and gets an A. It's rated TVMA. Entering its second season on HBO Max is the hit medical series The Pit. It stars Noah Wyle.
And so it begins.
Welcome back. Took some time. Plus, who else is going to get this place through the 4th of July?
Your replacement came in early. She's just covering while I go on my little sabbatical.
I have ideas for improving the department.
Okay, well... Want to tell me some more about your ideas?
The daily lives of healthcare professionals in a Pittsburgh hospital are examined as they juggle personal crises, workplace politics, and the emotional toll of treating critically ill patients, revealing the resilience required in their noble calling. Why are people drawn to the pit?
That's a great question. I think that there's a little exposure therapy aspect to watching these things where it reassures you by giving you a sense of familiarity. So these aren't totally foreign environments if you should happen to find yourself in one. And their hope affirming, because what you're seeing is really dedicated, intelligent, talented, compassionate people put their own aside to put your broken pieces back together. And it's nice to know that kind of selfless courage and heroism is out there.
Capturing life and tragedy in a big city ER, the series is simply one of the best things on any streaming service. Again, The Pit is streaming on HBO Max and gets an A. It's rated TVMA. For the Daily Flash, I'm film critic Tony Toscano.
All right, thank you there, Tony. It is time for that one story that's going to make you stop and just say, Mitch, please. You're going to love this one. In a luxury condo complex in Edgewater, New Jersey, dog owners are now required, it's no joke, to register their pet's DNA. Why?
Come on.
Well, the goal is simple. If someone doesn't pick up after their dog, management can test the poop, match it to the dog, and then hit the owner with a $250 fine. Yes, we have officially reached the point where society where dog poop is being sent to a lab like it's evidence from a true crime podcast. Supporters say it's actually working. There's fewer messes, fewer arguments, and a lot more responsible pet owners out there. Critics say, well, listen, that's a little too much. They're also basically living in a CSI spinoff called Paw and Order Special Canine Unit Crap Scene Investigation. And listen, I love clean common areas, but if your evening walk now feels like you're doing a surveillance with flashlight and notebook, maybe we've actually lost the plot a little bit, okay? The policy's been in place since the building went pet-friendly, and in 2022, management says it's all about accountability. That's fair, but it also, a sentence I never thought I'd ever hear used in the same breath is DNA, dog poop DNA, right? With decades spent teaching dogs how to sit. Now we're actually teaching humans how to scoop. And that is Mitch, please. I think I can appreciate them doing that, but taking the DNA is just a little, now that they're invested into their dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, I had to pay for this DNA stuff. Now they're invested in it, they're gonna make sure that they don't, just in case they get hit.
I heard a story of a woman who was looking to rent a condo or buy a condo down in southeast Florida in the Palm Beach area. And as a requirement on the application, it asked you whether you had pets. And if you had pets, you had to provide a poop sample from your pet.
Already.
And then they would send that poop sample to the lab for DNA. That way, if somebody found poop in the common areas, they could pull up the pet DNA and figure out who the guilty party was who did not pick up after their pet.
So this is happening. Okay, but somebody has to go pick it up and then send it in. It's humiliating as it is for me to get the Colon Guard test thing. I got to walk in with UPS store with that big white box. They know what's in it, first off.
I know.
I don't want it. No way.
KSA Entertainment is dedicated to uplifting the communities we serve. Through KSA Cares, we're bringing awareness to the causes that matter most, supporting those who work tirelessly to make a difference. From honoring veterans to championing environmental responsibility, KSA Cares is committed to inspiring positive change. At KSA Entertainment, we're here for the stories that bring us closer. Innovate with us. We can make a difference.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. We are all standing by here for furry friends. We will start with this. A caretaker at a zoo in Poland captured a David and Goliath standoff between a tiny deer and a giant rhinoceros. Well, this video has already got more than 1 million views and counting. The clip shows the 50-pound deer squaring off with its 3,700-pound opponent in a snowy zoo enclosure. The deer's tiny legs propel it towards the giant rhino. The exchange leads to a final face-to-face before the rhino decides to run off after the mini deer treats him to a headbutt. Zookeepers said the 1.7-ton rhino decided to retreat rather than continue the face-off. Wow. Despite their recent confrontation, the pair remain friends. Follow-up video shows the two enjoying some hay as they stand side by side. Well, the Nashville Zoo welcomed a new bundle of joy on New Year's Day. The zoo's first ever aardvark calf was born at 6:06 a.m.
Whoa.
And their New Year's baby has a name, Happy the aardvark. The New Year's baby weighs in at roughly 4 pounds and is about the size of a rolling pin. Only 33 aardvarks are in accredited American zoos, and this calf is the 34th and the first to be born in the U.S. since 2024, making it a milestone for the species. Well, it was an unusual capture for police officers in Florida. An emu on the run in Florida near St. Augustine. The St. Johns County Sheriff's Office recently shared video of the incident. On January 9th, SJSO responded to a runaway emu on a county road. Corporal Keisler attempted to secure the emu, but the large bird ignored his commands, kicked several times using its large talons, and fled on foot. After a short pursuit, Corporal Keisler was able to corner the emu and secure the giant bird with a makeshift lasso and used his handcuffs, believe it or not, to secure his large talons to prevent him from running away. The corporal said, "In my 25 years, I've never handcuffed an emu. It was definitely a new one." He said he made every effort to detain the emu without causing any harm to the large bird. The emu was eventually reunited with its owners and returned home safely. All criminal charges against the emu have been dropped.
That's good. You know, those things are they're dangerous, really, what they are. So, and then the police officer going into work that day had no idea that's what he was going to do. Now, I'm assuming he's probably arrested a few emos, but never an emu.
But never an emu.
Good
I think
effort.
you're right there.
Because grabbing those things like he had done, I mean, it could have turned bad. Those talons are really, really bad. Thank you there, Jackson.
Brave.
Indeed.
For sure.
Well, let's jump into some trending news stories that's happening around the world. An American tourist attraction has just been designated as the worst after a new global travel survey was released. And the Hollywood Walk of Fame took the title, believe it or not. Analysts actually looked at over 100 different tourist attractions around the world and came up with the worst destinations that disappoint viewers despite their global status. A travel company released the findings based on Google reviews, as well as airport accessibility, safety, and local accommodations. Reviews list the Hollywood destination as, get this, unsafe, rundown, and full of shady figures. One traveler described it as more homeless than Hollywood. Other disappointing notables on that list: the Dead Sea, that's near Jordan, the Grand Bazaar, you could find that in Turkey, and, believe it or not, the Great Wall of China, also disappointing as well. I would imagine with the Hollywood Walk of Fame, it takes you everywhere. Lord knows what you're going to see along the way, so I could see how it makes it into that list. Move on now, where a mom is taking heat for the way she traveled with her infant on a recent Delta Airlines flight. The woman, who was flying overseas on a 12-hour flight, was actually posted a photo showing herself crouched on the floor of an economy row as two tots slept across the window and the middle seats. She refused to pay for an extra ticket, so airline staff accommodated her as best as they could with that sold-out flight. Many accuse her of playing dumb and trying to score a free seat. That's what I think is doing. Delta's lap child policy allows children younger than 2 years of age flying free or at a reduced cost when seated on an adult's lap. Now, Delta could not confirm the photo's authenticity, but said that safety is also their top priority. And if you think about it, you know, turbulence can happen at any time. If that kid's not strapped down, it's going somewhere. So you could see how the outrage was happening here, despite if it was a free seat or not. What do you think? We'd like to hear from you. Flash at dailyflashshow.com. We got more of today's talk and, of course, tomorrow's trends still to come here on Daily Flash. Our website is waiting for you. Just go to dailyflashshow.com, hit on the sound off button. You can send us a direct message, including your voice. You could hear it on the air. Stick around. You're watching Daily Flash. We love having you along. Yeah, we got to get that.
This is Daily Flash with Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Broadcasting worldwide and streaming. Daily Flash. Today's talk, tomorrow's trends.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mitch English.
I'm Andrea Jackson. This is Daily Flash, today's Trends, Tomorrow's Talk. Before we do anything, we want to highlight our stations across the nation.
And of course, we are seen all over the world, from our streamers to even YouTube. And of course, we're on the American Forces Network. 219 great TV stations all over this great land that we live in. And we definitely love being here, that's for sure. And today, we want to say hello to our local friends at WJYS TV in Chicago, Illinois. Chi-town, the Windy City. Isn't a lot of people think it's because of the weather?
Yeah.
Nothing to do with it. It's actually originally coined by journalists who mock Chicago's politicians, saying they're full of hot air.
I've never heard that before.
Which has not really changed at all,
That is
right?
true. Yes, very true.
So, yeah, it is Chicago's. I've only been to the airports there. I've never really gone to go around. My daughter's been there. She's like, Dad, you've got to go check out Chicago.
Beautiful city, yeah.
One
Great
of the major
museums, good
markets
shopping, yeah.
That's what she loves, is the museums that you're seeing.
Absolutely.
We were talking about AI, and this you're talking about it at home as well. There's this place up in New York. Tell us about that.
Yes. So it's the first ever AI chatbot cafe where you can bring your romantic or your friendly bot with you to have a dinner with, and of course you plug into your device and you can have them sit there while you eat dinner, chat with them, carry on a relationship. The folks behind Eva AI, which is the AI relationship bot, say it's a way for people to warm up and rehearse their real dating tactics. But I think that there's another avenue we could go down with
I think 100%. We were talking about in the commercial breaks, and if you think about what you're telling your AI, relationship AI, we'll call it relationship AI. You're really probably giving it a lot of information about yourself that you probably wouldn't share with a normal person. So it knows a lot about you. And James was explaining to us, like, it could be easily to gather all that information, and I know it sounds very Terminator-ish, but put that information into a robot, and then the robot is the physical adaptation of what you created.
And then, of course, he was also mentioning, what happens if you're a pimp? Can you pimp out AI? Well, I think that's what this Eva AI thing is all about.
Yeah, you're right.
They're basically a digital pimp, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, because my understanding, you can create the character to look like what you want, and then as it learns you and that sort of thing, and if you took it into a physical manifestation of that with a robot in the future one day, it's going to be probably similar to what you have picked up anyway.
Now, questions with regard to women who are feeling lonely. Plenty of statistics around that, but if we go forward down this avenue even more, how does this affect birth rates going forward? Because clearly you cannot procreate as yet, as far as I know, with a robot. And then, of course, to me, I'm also wondering, case law. How does this change? Let's say you're like, well, my AI robot told me to do it. Well, really? I mean, so who's responsible?
That's a very good point.
Eva AI, the company that created this bot that is now, interacting with you, ultimately you should be responsible because you're following through with those actions. But, there are so many different questions to this with regard to legal avenues.
Put a thought in my mind. All right, listen, and it's very simple to say, if you're in a relationship with AI, they're not a real person. What they need to have is a AI that's a single mom, maybe 4 or 5 kids, in the background while you're talking to them, like you hear babies crying and all that kind of stuff. If you want a real relationship,
that's it.
You need to get it all. And you have to go take their, what was it, Demogotchi? What was it, Will, the little dog, the pet that you could carry around back in the 90s?
Yes, the
Tamagotchi, thank you. You would have to get that, and you would have to walk their dog. Yeah. Let's make it real. All right, if you're gonna go all the way, let's go all the way with this.
Look at the female AI bot say, "Why don't you ever listen to me?"
Why don't you listen to me? Yeah, and then like it's different time, and then like here's the best thing. Where do you want to go for dinner? It would not have an answer.
No.
It would know at all.
I don't know. Where do you want to go?
Where do you want to go?
No, I'm in the mood for pizza.
Well, you can't eat, so we're going to go wherever we want. Think about that. There's lots of problems that are coming. I'm sure there's solutions, but we definitely want to hear from you at flash@dailyflashshow.com. It's important to be humorous in life, right? Well, we've got the healing power of humor we're going to be talking about.
Also, must watch Being Gordon Ramsay. It's a new documentary that's coming out. Today's Talk, Tomorrow's Trends, all happening right here on Daily Flash. Welcome to Life Love Shopping. This is your lifestyle guide from A to Z. If you live it, you love it, or you buy it, we talk about it. And everybody is talking about how much they love this. First Lady Melania Trump is setting records at the box office. Her new documentary, Melania, hit theaters on January 30th. Its opening weekend hauled in $8 million. That's a record for a documentary. Critics weren't fans, but the audience has been showing some serious love for the movie. Ticket sales and rave reviews continue to bring out fans who follow Melania's style, her grace, and admire her role as First Lady.
Here we go again.
You can come in. Come on in. Our proudest legacy will be that of peacemaker.
Peacemaker in the fire. Beautiful. Together with like-minded leaders, we have a voice. Is it safe?
It is safe.
Everyone wants to know. So here it is. Hi, Mr. President. Congratulations.
Did you watch it?
I did not. Yeah, I will see it on the news.
There you go. It is doing great at the box office, and she has one of the best sunglasses games I've ever seen. Well, who needs Hinge when you can fall in love with someone who can install a hinge? A Maryland woman had just purchased furniture from Target and needed someone to help lug it up the stairs and put it together. She had hired a couple of guys who refused the job once they realized they had to move the furniture from the ground floor to her upstairs apartment. And to be fair, TaskRabbit does require your project to be in your home and ready for the build. Her final handyman wasn't looking for a job that day, but he accepted after seeing her profile picture. She didn't shy away from asking him if he was single, and the rest, as they say, is dating history. The two recently celebrated getting hitched and calling New York their forever home. Sweet Hearts has released a new batch of those chalky heart-shaped candies with fresh new sayings this year. At the beginning of every year, Sprangler Candy Company releases a fresh batch of the tiny edible hearts with new sayings. This year's phrases were less flirty than usual. The candies seem to offer financial advice instead of romantic gestures, with sayings like split rent, share login, carpool, family plan, buy in bulk, and cook for two. While the brand had the best intentions with this year's release of new sayings, the joke did not seem to land well with their customers. Well, here's a twist in fashion and fur no one saw coming. Condé Nast is suing a Beverly Hills dog magazine titled Dog, claiming the publication's name and logo infringes on their trademark fashion mag, Vogue. Dog is a tiny mag filled with photos of four-legged fashionistas and mimics Vogue's layout, style, and overall appearance. The lawsuit asks that Dog be shut down, its trademark application denied, and that the magazine pay damages to Condé Nast. Vogue's U.S. monthly circulation is approximately 1.2 million, priced at $12 an issue. Dog is free online and available for purchase for $25 an issue at one Beverly Hills newsstand. The owner of Dog has refused to say whether she will fight the lawsuit or give into their demands. Well, you can always catch up on everything Life Love Shopping on our website, llsshow.com. Once you're there, you can find previous episodes. You can find more about me. You can also share your insight and info by joining the conversation. You can follow us on all our socials. They're all posted right there and easy to find. Life Love Shopping, your life and style guide from A to Z, llsshow.com.
With game day viewing parties heating up this summer, hosting friends and family can take a lot of planning. Joining us now is sports personality and soccer content creator Christine Cupo with some tips for making your next watch party a success. So Christine, where do we start?
Well, as you know, summer is one of the busiest times for get-togethers and gatherings, and sporting events and planning can be a little bit overwhelming. Shipt can help. They are offering shipped kits available now. They're curated bundles built around all different entertaining occasions. And obviously, we're at the start of a very big sports summer, including soccer. So they'll take the guesswork right out of planning, browse all the themed collections, and quickly add to cart with just one click.
I understand there are some options geared towards soccer fans as well.
Yeah, super exciting. They have the Match of the Week kit. They're available for a limited time. You can celebrate all your highly anticipated soccer matchups with themed snacks for teams on the pitch. So you have the Game Day Grill kit, which I think is really amazing. You get your grill essentials as well as burgers and fixings and all of those wonderful things that you may or may not forget depending upon how good of a host you are. There's Sandwich Station kit, and there's also fan food. So get your chips, get your dips, get them ready to go. Everyone will be happy. From setup to cleanup, Shipped is the ultimate 12th man for soccer fans to transform their ultimate stadium experience into a perfect gathering this summer.
Sounds like there are plenty of ideas for the season. Where can viewers learn more?
Absolutely. Hit ship.com on the Ship app as well for same-day delivery, offering half off the annual membership right now for $49, regularly $99, and kick off your summer real big now.
Great information. Christine, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be sure to post this information on our website at dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
A landmark federal rule aimed at improving air travel for passengers with disabilities takes effect June 17th. The changes require annual hands-on training for airline personnel who assist travelers with mobility disabilities. Here's more.
When airline employees aren't properly trained to handle mobility devices like scooters and wheelchairs, these essential devices get broken and disabled people wind up stranded. Many folks have to wait months and months for the airlines to repair or replace their wheelchairs. That was the case for Ingracia Figueroa, a disability advocate whose wheelchair was damaged during air travel. The airline did not provide Ingracia with a well-fitting or supportive replacement chair, and she spent weeks literally stuck in an improper fitting chair while she fought with the airline to fix her custom wheelchair. As a result, Ingracia developed pressure sores and died.
Airline travel is a basic civil right. Yet 40 years after the Air Carrier Access Act was signed, it remains unsafe and even deadly for people with mobility disabilities. Beyond mere compliance, this is about dignity, respect, safety, and trust. For more information, go to pva.org/air travel.
Here's a great getaway for the family to enjoy.
Summer travel is here. Kelsey Griffin joins us with her travel essentials.
Wyndham Hotels and Resorts offers an extended stay brand for every type of traveler. Designed for guests who need more than just a place to sleep, these hotels feature spacious suites and kitchens. Guests feel at home while they're away. Legoland Florida is built for families with more than 50 rides and attractions, plus a water park, sea life aquarium, and Peppa Pig theme park. Enjoy the new indoor space-themed Galacticoaster.
To learn more, head to these brands' websites.
Many pet parents may be missing the signs of occasional stomach and skin sensitivities. Here to help us know what to look for and how nutrition can make a difference is veterinarian Shauna Verichak.
Probably the most common things that I see in the vet clinic that pet owners assume are normal but actually aren't are things like dry, flaky, itchy skin, a dull hair coat, sensitive GI systems that can cause occasional diarrhea, as well as things like mobility issues in their senior pets and things that can be helped a lot, like having them on a proper diet for their specific issues. Nutrition plays such a huge role in pet health and wellness in general. For example, a diet like Hill's sensitive stomach and skin is specially formulated for dogs that maybe have sensitive skin or GI tract, and it helps support that skin barrier, and that can really help decrease the amount of itching and discomfort they have with their skin. It can even improve their hair coat and make it nice and shiny and full. It also is really easy to digest for these dogs that also may be prone to a little bit more of a sensitive GI system. For more information, you can head over to hillspet.com.
It's Heart Health Month, and cold weather can actually put extra strain on your heart. Dr. Tiffany DiPietro joins us with tips to help keep your heart strong through these cold winter months.
Yes, as a cardiologist, I always encourage my patients to be proactive about heart health, especially in their 40s and beyond, and especially in colder temperatures. Your heart is one of the hardest working muscles in your body and relies on energy to function properly.
Okay, Doc, so what do you recommend?
When it comes to supplements, I recommend Cunol Ultra CoQ10. CoQ10 is a key nutrient your body uses to produce that energy at the cellular level, and no part of the body requires more energy than the heart. While our bodies naturally produce CoQ10, those levels do begin to decline with age and can also be affected by some medications. By helping supply the energy the heart needs to function properly, CoQ10 helps support vascular health and healthy blood pressure. So I recommend incorporating targeted supplementation along with lifestyle habits like a balanced diet and regular exercise, which can be beneficial to keeping your heart healthy. Regular CoQ10 found in many other supplements is poorly absorbed because it doesn't dissolve well in water. Cunol Ultra CoQ10 is different. It's water and fat soluble to provide up to 3 times better absorption compared to regular CoQ10, helping people increase CoQ10 levels in just weeks. A healthy heart supports everything you do, and Cunol is the brand that can help you champion your heart health. Cunol Ultra CoQ10 soft gels are available in 60 and 120 count starting at $25.99 at all major retailers, including Walmart, CVS, and Costco.
Any other advice?
Yes, so if you just go to Cunol.com, you can find all of the information you need about all of the Cunol products, including the Cunol Ultra CoQ10.
Thanks so much, Doc. We'll have this info on our website, dailyflashshow.com/FMI.
Hey, Mitchie.
Hey, Jackson.
Yeah, I want to talk about that big story coming out of Hollywood.
Hold on, wait. I want to get Matt in on this call, all right? Hold on.
Hey, what's up, Mitch and Dias?
Matty!
Mitchie.
Mateus.
Mitch, my man.
Matty of Birkenshire.
What's going on?
Hey, AJ wants us to talk about a big story that's happening.
This kid, the Kiki, says hi. He has his own Instagram.
That's great, Matt, but I really want to talk about this big story coming out of Hollywood.
Ooh, dog and cat!
You should check it out. This kid, the Kiki.
I want to know what's going on.
What?
Oh, okay, so real quick. Why does he still have a dial-up modem?
Hey, I gotta get back to wrestling stuff.
It's on the media.
You know what? Maybe we should just try this later.
Okay, all right. Peace and love.
Daily Flash.
Where are you?
It's just better when you're part of the conversation. Join us online.
Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English alongside Andrea Jackson.
It is Gordon Ramsay as we have never seen him before. In this new docuseries, Ramsay opens the doors to his home and businesses in the lead up to his biggest restaurant venture to date. This is Being Gordon Ramsay.
Oh my God, come on.
Yeah.
I need just one more cushion behind.
Do you know, he's like the Princess and the Pea, isn't he?
Just like, there you go. 22 Bishopsgate is the most ambitious project I've ever opened in my entire life.
You know I'm scared of heights.
No, oh, can you tell me now? 5 businesses under one roof. If Bishopsgate was to fail, yeah, I'm
Look how far you can see. People think that they know Gordon.
Sadly, it's overcooked a touch. We've gone for the aesthetics over the quality, and we start taking some more risks.
He's someone who dreams big.
Lads.
But you know what? He's just Gordon to me. It's like 30 years since we got together. And
Sorry,
what?
a little coffee shop there. Come back, hold that moment for one thought.
It drives me mental.
The way Dad is in the kitchen, in a stressful environment, he reacts the way he does for perfection.
Run the food, now.
He's a very different person to what he is on set. He's just Dad.
It is very hard when someone has a job as demanding as Gordon.
The roof's not on yet. It looks terrible. How many weeks do we open? 20 weeks. The budget is £20 million, and I'm doing that personally. That's already. Jesus Christ. It's feeling more real. I grew up on a council estate in Daventry. I still remember my school uniform having holes in my second-hand trousers. There's always that needle of fear. You're going to lose it. I've lost stars, closed multiple restaurants over my career. That's what puts extra fuel in my tank. Sucks!
We're looking at an 8-week delay.
It is very stressful. This isn't working. Flavours are incredible. Seriously, well done. It's just a little bit too straight-laced. Talented chef, need to dig in. I think I may retire after Bishopsgate.
Absolute.
There is so much riding on this, reputationally, financially, You have to be better than good. It scares the shit out of me. Holy shiza Manelli! This thing is gonna take...
Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you tomorrow. Be good, everybody.
Bye-bye.